We end up at 6th or 5th or whatever the case may be, or if we end up in the playoff, whatever that thing is, whoever came up with that shit need to be fired.
Stop the cap!
LeBron, you scared now, bro? What's the matter? Just one game. What's the worst that could happen?
James, this is for the win. No good. And the Golden State Warriors hang on. A tremendous comeback for the Warriors.
With the Lakers missing the playoffs, it's the first time since 2005. How bad is this a look for the NBA that we're not going to have LeBron this year in June?
This is really bad for the NBA.
Thing is, whoever came up with that shit need to be fired. But whatever.
Alright, so I wasn't planning to make a video on this so soon. I was planning on it being closer to the play-in, but, you know, LeBron said what he said, and there are a lot of people that agree with it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, they're all wrong. You know, it was the Mavericks that started off the whole thing, complaining and whining and all that, with Mark Cuban and Luka Doncic even himself.
I don't understand the idea of playing. You play 72 games to get in the playoffs, and then maybe you lose 2 in a row and you're out of the playoffs. So I don't see the point of that.
Alright, maybe it's not fair to call complaining and whining, but their point's not valid. I'm just gonna say that right now. I'll explain why in a bit, but first we're going to have to talk about the 2 articles that people might be leaving out in the comment section below, so let's get to it. So there are 2 articles that people are gonna pull up on LeBron James in the play-in tournament that, you know, that they only read the headlines for, not the actual article. What else is new? And the first one was where LeBron said that he liked the idea of the play-in tournaments. Now, of course, this is taken out of context for multiple reasons. Number 1, this sound clip was taken from the beginning of the lockdown period of the 2020 season. So there are a lot of unknown variables and a lot of ideas that were swirling around. And number 2, and more importantly, that a lot of people didn't see, is that LeBron had a completely different idea.
There's been so many conversations that's been tinkered around. I have not been on the calls. It's just my mind thinking and talking. There could be a best out of a 3-team.
And the second one, the one that people are using to call LeBron a double hypocrite, was back in 2018 when he first heard of the play-in idea, where he said basically it's corny and it's whack and yada yada, right? But see, the reason he said that is because he didn't actually understand what was going on. The reporter that asked him the question was trying to explain it to him for the first time, and yeah, he just flat out sold.
There'd be 9 teams in East.
Nah, bro, you just heard that wrong. Honestly, I don't think the reporter even knew what he was talking about. But anyway, I present all that just to say that LeBron's probably neutral about this. You know, just like every single other player that isn't in the 7th or 8th seed. I mean, clearly, if he was packing the number 1 or 2 seed on him, he would not care whatsoever. Draymond also said something about it in criticism, but if you actually read the full quote, it's pretty neutral. But the way that LeBron was talking sort of sounded like he was mad at the game, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's like when you lose something or you do something bad, you're like, man, I hate this game. You don't actually hate the game, you just hate that, you know what I'm saying, you're at the position that you're in. It's clear that LeBron is scared of being eliminated, and that fear of course is valid. The Los Angeles Lakers have not been doing good as of the time of this video recording, so LeBron does have some reason to worry, the same way that Luka Doncic and Mark Cuban were complaining and whining because they were the 7th seed. They were scared of getting eliminated. It's valid. Now you see they're the 5th seed, they're not complaining anymore. But see, the way that the play-in works, if you're the 7th seed, there are 2 teams that have to beat you in order for you to be eliminated from the playoffs. And not just any 2 teams, these are 2 teams that are probably barely 500. So if you can't even win 1 game against them, did you really deserve to be in the playoffs in the first place? But at the end of the day, those are just complaints. Cause when does the 7 or 8 seed really matter? Let's go ask me from 2 years ago. Hey, keep comment from 2 years ago. How many times have the 6th, 7th, or 8th seed made it to the conference finals? If your team is a 6th, 7th, or 8th seed, then you can expect them to make the conference finals about once every 10 years. Yeah. If the 7th and 8th seed are so inconsequential, they don't really provide much value to the NBA. Sure, for the first round, there are going to be those diehard fans that watch the games, but for most people, they're not going to be curious about the Milwaukee Bucks versus, you know what I'm saying, the Atlanta Hawks, in comparison to, say, the Bucks and the Nets. So if it's already a foregone conclusion, why not add some pomp and circumstance to it? I mean, come on, that's what the NBA lives on, drama. There's a reason that the 2016 NBA Finals and the 1998 NBA Finals were some of the greatest of all time, because of the drama and storylines behind it. While sure, the basketball might have been great for the 2020 NBA playoffs, but were there any consistent drama, any consistent storylines that you could follow as a casual fan? The people that the NBA are trying to market to and turn into serious fans? Nothing. If you really think about it, there's like nothing. Now, this is a little tangent now, but there's a reason that Giannis and Kawhi Leonard I don't personally like as superstars. Because they don't really have a personality. I mean, Giannis is the guy that runs and dunks, and Kawhi is the robot that curates music for NBA YoungBoy and Rod Wave.
It just merges basketball and, music together. I mean, it's always been something in my mind that I wanted to do.
Gonna chop y'all up, karate style.
Other than that, like, what's interesting about them? They don't have any rivalries. They don't have anything interesting about their game. They're efficient and productive, sure, but what else do they bring other than that? And same for the Bucks. What's there to like about the Bucks outside of their basketball? That's just a question I have, man. I'm not trying to attack, but like, now, there's a variable to all of this that should be mentioned. This is a completely unprecedented season. 2020 might have been more obvious with the corona and the bubble and all that, but the 2021 season has only 2 months, 10 weeks actually of break for teams and the impact of the COVID and health safety protocols. There's a reason that the Miami Heat and Washington Wizards and of course the Los Angeles Lakers haven't been doing good, is because this season is unprecedented. So those complaints are justifiable. But at the same time, why would 1 or 2 games break the back of the team? That can't be justified. Like I said before, the NBA is desperately trying to stir up drama. We all know how the ratings have been of late. And the first rounds, to be honest, come on, man, it's not really that exciting. And the NBA knows that. Remember last year when they were trying to push for that LeBron-Zion matchup? It was the reason they put in the play-in tournament in the first place. Okay, probably not, but, you know. Now, for 2021, there's so much potential for drama in just this play-in tournament. Outside of the actual single-game elimination, which is crazy within itself, you've got LaMelo Ball, Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook, and Stephen Wardell Curry II, all competing in a March Madness style tournament. And let's not forget Ja Morant, or potentially Dame, or Luka, or even the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James versus Stephen Curry in a 1-game elimination series is possible. LeBron James versus Stephen Curry in a single-game elimination tournament is possible. There's a reason the league made this permanent. And not only that, but it gives teams that otherwise wouldn't chances to compete. The #1 example here would be the Washington Wizards. In a normal season, they would have next to no chance of making the playoffs. Now there's a chance for Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal to compete in a playoff-like environment that's only heightened by the single-game elimination factor, and playing against other teams with stars that aren't really that great a team. And as we all know, it's not a team-driven league. It's a star-driven league. The players can complain all they like, but this is the best thing the NBA's ever done. And you can fight me on that. Thanks for watching.